So when you are using field city, we are not defining a proper technical attribute of this field. What is the exact length of this city? What is the data type of this city? What is the proper short description of this city? We are not defining when you are using predefined types. So one user can create city field with different data type and different length, and he might provide a random description. Another user may create a city field with different data type and different length, and he may provide some random description. Okay, there is no consistency when multiple users creating multiple tables, when they are using same field city in all those tables. Okay, that should be a consistent. Everyone should use same data type, same length, and same short description. Then only the data is consistent across the all tables. Not only city, whatever the field. For example, customer id. If you are using customer id in a different table, if you are creating customer id field in a different table, you should take same data type and same length with the same short description, right? But how can you define that? By going through predefined attributes, you cannot control it. You cannot control it. Okay, users can create their own data types and length, right? They can just go to predefined type and give a data type and length here and provide the description whatever they want. There is no control over it, and you are not defining a proper technical attribute and semantic attribute of this table field, right? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, this is very important.
Yes,
If you have
sir.
any questions, let me know.
Okay.
So when you are defining what are the technical attributes of the field, what are the technical attributes of the field?
Character and length.
Character and length.
Data type and length.
Data type and length. Okay.
Data type and length.
What are the semantic attributes?
Short description.
Short.
So here, when we go by predefined types, whatever the data type and length you want, you can take it. There is no control over it. Also, you can define your own semantic attribute, that is description. There is no control. Okay. So to avoid this inconsistency of the fields, we don't use predefined types. We use data elements and domains. What is data elements?
A domain description plus domain.
Data element is the semantic attribute of the table field. What is data element?
Semantic attribute of the
Semantic attribute of the data element, table field. Okay. So what does it contain? What does this data element contain?
short
Description.
This one,
Description.
short description. Okay. Contain only short description. Data element contains only short description. Okay. Okay, it contain data element contains short description of the table field. Okay. So what is domain?
It is a technical attribute. It contains data type and character. For length.
So domain is a technical attribute of the table field.
Data type.
Contains data type and length. Okay. So whenever when we are creating a table, we should use data elements on domains. Why we should use data elements on domains, and why can't we use predefined types? So if you use predefined types, there is no consistency in the table fields. Okay. One user can take different length and another user can take different length, right? There is no consistency. Now let's create a table with data elements on domains. Create the table. Customer master data. What is delivery class? Delivery class defines type of the table. Is it a application table or customizing table? Application table is for master data and transaction data. Allowed fields. Customer ID. Field should be as short as possible. Okay. Field, always remember, field name should be as short as possible. So this is a primary key field. Now I'm not going for predefined types here. I'll go by data elements. Okay. I'll go by data element. So there is one standard field for customer. What is the customer master data table? KNA1. Customer master table is KNA1. This is the standard table provided by SAP. So what is the customer ID here? Customer number field here. This one, KUNNR. What is the data element for this? Same. Data element name is also same, KUNNR. Let's just take this. Enter the data element KUNNR. Click on enter. So it's assigned data type and length as customer number. Also it assigned a semantic attribute, that is short description. Right? Now whenever you are creating a table field, customer number or customer ID, you can use the standard data element. You don't need to define length and data type. Just provide this data element name. That's it. Okay. Is it clear? What does the data element contain? Double click on this. It contains a domain. Inside data element, a domain is configured or inserted. So when you go to domain, what you can find in domain? What is the data type of the field? What is the length of the field? Okay.
Another option, case sensitive.
I'll explain those details later. Okay. Now let's assume there is no standard data element available. Let's say there is no standard data element available. Now what we have to do? We have to create a data element. How to create a data element? Go to SC11. First, before going to what are the attributes we need? We need for technical attributes we need a domain. For semantic attributes we need which one? Which one we need for semantic attributes?
Short description.
No, what is that object?
Domain.
Data.
Which one is for semantic attributes?
Data elements.
Data element is for semantic attribute. Domain is for technical attribute. First, let's create a domain. I'm giving some name Z custody because it's a custom object, right? We are creating a custom domain, right? That should starts with Z. Okay. Create the domain. Oh, it's already exists. Someone has already created it. I'll take CUID. Create it. Provide the short description of this domain. But this is not the one which we are using in the table. This is a short description of the domain. This is not the field short description. Okay. Provide the data type. Check the syntax. Save it. Check the syntax and activate the domain. Now we have created the domain, right? But we cannot directly use this domain in our table. We have to create a data element also. To create the data element, select the data type. Provide the name. I can provide same name, but type is different, right? It is domain and it is data element. I can provide the same name, GCUID. Okay. Create the data element. Now I see three options here: data element, structure, and table type. Select data element. Continue. I'm giving customer ID as a short description. Now go to domain. What is the domain name you have created? This is the one, right? I've assigned the domain in data element. Save the data element. I'll tell you these field labels later. Okay. Or just provide field labels also. Go to field labels and in short, provide short description. That is like this. In medium, in long, provide like this. Okay. Check the syntax. There is no errors. Activate the data element. Now copy this data element. Go to your table and enter the data element here. Don't select built-in types. Enter the data element here. This is predefined type. Okay. Click on enter. Now technical attributes and semantic attributes are assigned for this table field. Short description is automatically assigned, and also data type and length is also automatically assigned to this table field. Clear? Activate the table. I've taken only single field. Okay. Activate the table. Now let's say another user is creating another table. That is ZDemo cust. Okay. For a different purpose. Create the table. This is customer data table. Delivery class is A, that is for application table. Application table is for master data and transaction data. Go to field, customer ID. So what is the data element he has to provide now? The data element which you have already created. Just provide it. You don't need to think about the data type, and you don't need to think about the domain, and you don't need to think about the description what you need to provide. Just enter the data element which is already created for this field. Okay. Clear? Is it clear? Is it clear about data elements and domains?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now let's observe. So first we have created a domain, and then we created the data element, and we provided the data element here. There is another process to create these data elements and domains. That is the first one. The first one what we have observed is a top-down approach. First we created the domain, and then we created the data element, and we entered the data element in the field data element field. Now there is one more approach, that is bottom-up approach. What is that? CNAME. Do we have a data element for customer name?
No.
No, right? We need to create the data element. CNAME. So there is no data element. Double click on it. Double click on this data element. Click on yes. Continue. What is it? What is it asking? Data element ZCNAME does not exist. Create the data element. Yes, create it. Provide the short description. Provide the field label. Here we have to provide short description, medium description, and long description. Okay, just provide that. Okay. Now, do we have a domain for this customer name? What is domain?
Data type.
What is domain? Domain defines technical attributes of the table field. Did we create the domain for this?
Data.
Did we create a domain for customer name?
Yes, sir.
When?
That's his name.
Huh?
That's his name. Double click.
Did we create the domain?
No, sir.
No, already created.
Who?
Double click.
No. Now, are you following what I am doing? Did I create the domain now for customer name? Did I
Now
create the domain? Which one? In which screen I am in?
data elements.
I am creating data element. Did I create the domain for this field customer name? I've created domain and data element for customer ID. Did I create a domain for customer name? Say yes or no.
Create.
Did I create the domain or not?
A little bit confusion.
I'm creating the data element. I'm not creating the domain yet. I provided the domain name here. It is not available because I did not create it. I've just provided the name here. Now double click here to create the domain. Provide the domain description. I'm telling you, I'm already telling you, or you guys are not concentrating. The first one is top-down approach. First, I have created the domain, and then I have created the data element. Now, what I am doing here
Data
from the
element.
table
Data
level,
element.
I have created the data element, and I am creating the domain. Go back. Now, the domain is assigned to the data element. Now, go back. Now, data element is assigned to the table field. Where is it? What I am doing? Double click on here. Activate the data element. Now, data element is available here. I'm creating one more field.
Phone number.
Phone number. For phone number, is there a data element available?
No.
No. Just enter the name and enter. Click on enter. So, what it is saying? ZC phone is not active. That means this data element is not available. So, how many ways we can create the data element?
Top to bottom or bottom to top.
Top to
Two
bottom means
ways.
first we need to create the domain, and then we need to create the data element and enter the data element name here. What is the second process? Enter the name here. If it is available, it will take it. Otherwise, double click on it. It is saying it is not available, right? 0. There is no description and data type here. When you click on enter. Now double click on it. What it is saying? What is saying? Data element is not available. Do you want to create it? Yes, I want to create this data element. And provide the field label for field label is also semantic attribute. Go back to data type. Did we created the domain for this phone?
No.
I'm using same name. You can use same name. Okay, you can use same name as data element because domain and data element are different, right? Even if you give same name, it won't raise any error. Okay, click on enter.